ledger, turn full as a monster, jaws wide like a gator. Pit stop, quick cruise, move sharp as a razor. Adrenaline pumps, veins fuel injected. Outlaws on the track, chaos perfected. Full throttle kings, we don't slow down. Ripping through the night, owning this town. Gas to the floor, the crowd gets loud. Outlaws racing, we're born unbound. Smoke trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint jobs flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, stealing pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump traps, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump traps, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Slow trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint jobs flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, stealing pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Engines scream, asphalt burns, the grip's a gamble. Tires squeal, hearts race, this leads to scandal. Full throttle, no brakes, chasing that checkered. Drafted lines tighter than a bank teller's ledger. Turn full as a monster, jaws wide like a gator. Pit stop, quick cruise, move sharp as a razor. Adrenaline pumps, veins fuel injected. Outlaws on the track, chaos perfected. Full throttle kings, we don't slow down. Ripping through the night, owning this town. Gas to the floor, the crowd gets loud. Outlaws racing, we're born unbound. Smoke trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint jobs flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, stealing pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Slow trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint jobs flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, stealing pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights.
Woo! Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening from the beautiful Nashville Super Speedway. Jimmy 3 times doesn't like the track very much. Unfortunately, did have some pretty bad luck here last Saturday night. So, unfortunately, not a huge fan of the Nashville Super Speedway, but, maybe time will tell. Maybe things will turn around there for Mr. Jimmy 3 3 times in the next season of the Premium Stock Car Racing League in our Saturday nights. But here tonight for the Full Throttle Outlaws Truck Series, these drivers get ready to rumble. They get ready to duke it out here for another amazing night of racing action. Now, we do apologize. Our SDK, for some reason, has decided not to want to work today. It does not want to work. It does not want to cooperate with us here this evening. So we gotta kind of do things a little bit differently here. Unfortunately, with the overlay not wanting to work, the scoreboard won't come up. So we'll go through the field quite a few times here this evening to give you guys a look and kind of where drivers are running throughout the race and everything else, kind of what lap they're on and stuff like that as well. You'll see a lot more today of me clicking onto the screen, and you can see kind of how that looks, sort of deal, when we're looking through replays, stuff like that. You'll see that pop up a little bit, so that way we can kind of navigate stuff, as for some reason SDK decided it wanted to not work tonight. Man, it always seems to be Friday nights that things tend to go wrong. I mean, the last couple of weeks we have had Monday to Thursdays off, so we've been a little bit more not on, so we haven't really had time to check things and make sure things were, you know, perfectly good. I thought earlier today everything was good. I did not check SDK, and I probably should have, to see, you know, what was going on with that, if there was anything that I could have done to try to help progress it and work here this evening. But nonetheless, we get ready to rumble as Drunker will start in that pole position to his outside. It's the 97 of Colton Hardy. Matt Hayden and the 28 of Mr. Combs will start there in position number 4 on the racetrack. Eric Hagdul back in 6 with the 92 of Clinton Woodby, the 87 there of Joe Yakes, and then we do see Brody Bente in that 36 ride, or 63. Oh, look out! Cool. Oh man, Clinton. Oh no, there they go. They're going to continue going. Okay, caution flag is out. There goes the 6. Big hit there for Rusty Modesty as well. Big hit right at the get-go here at the amazing Nashville Super Speedway. Already we're into some of the rough stuff here, as you're going to watch the 92 rider Clinton Woodby get really, really loose here. So Woodby gets a loose right there. He goes up the racetrack. He tries to save it. Unfortunately, gets into Stephen Luttrell. Then everyone else trying to dodge it here. You're going to end up seeing quite a few drivers, including the 8 of Ronald Kingston here. See if we can jump over to Ronald. Oh, that's going forwards. Let's go backwards here. Okay, so Ronald's a little farther back. I think we are on him right there. Okay, there is Mr. Kingston right there. So he gets in here. He's trying to make it through. He's down low. Obviously, sees 92 get loose right there. Contact, and then as everyone else starts to check up, him and the 96 ride get tied together. That shoots the 8 ride of Kingston up the racetrack hard into the outside fence. And I think as that happened for Modesty, he's trying to keep himself out of it here. And unfortunately for Rusty, he's just kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time. Let's see if we can get another look here at Modesty, see what he can kind of see here as they get going. So he just misses the 92 and the 36, but then there's the 8 ride. They get tied together, and then as they get into the fence there, it bounces them down the racetrack, hard contact into the inside fence. You hear something under the hood there go kaboom, and unfortunately, he's going to tow that thing right down pit side, and the crew is going to have to do a lot of work to get that thing, you know, fixed up and back into the action here this afternoon, as we'll get them all ready to rock and roll, ready to party here again, as we do see these drivers down pit side, some of them getting damage repaired, others just trying to get their trucks kind of fixed up a little bit more. Obviously, for some, a lot of damage, a lot of tore up race cars out there on the speedway, but and it's going to be tough to try to bounce back from that one as we get them all ready to rock and roll. It's Drunker who leads the charge here, leading the first few laps here under yellow flag this afternoon. Matt Hayden's there in second with Mr. Colton Hardy back there in that 3rd spot on the speedway. Eric Hagdul, Brandon Combs there in that 5th position. Joe Yakes back in position number 6. Brody Bente, Jesse Wise in the 69 Shitty Coolers machine there. There's that number 7 of Harrison Crosby, the 77 ride of Evan Schilling, the 4 machine of Jesse Calloway. Then we do see that 46 of Skylar Berry. 48 ride. Oh, man, the 48 machine out there on the Speedway looking good. That is Brennan McNutt to his outside. I believe in the 3 ride is Keith Prince here this afternoon. New paint scheme here for Prince, leaving another angle at that one. A little too far. There we go. There we go. There's that 3 machine of Keith Prince looking fancy out there in that Johnny Johnson Motorsports ride. The 32 machine of Cunningham. There's the 8 of Mr. Ronald Kingston. The 92 machine there as well of Clinton Woodby. And unfortunately still down pit side. Just rolling back out is Mr. Modesty. There comes Modesty back out onto the racetrack. Good to see him back out there, back into the fun. We do see Stephen Luttrell still down pit side, but nonetheless, we're going to get ready to get back at it. Ready to get back to green flag racing here this evening. Oh, brother, here we go. Woo, baby. This is going to get fun real quick. This is going to get real fun real quick as each and every one of these drivers looking and hoping to try to put themselves up and in to victory lane here this evening as down through the gears and back up the speed here at Nashville Super Speedway. The 56 of Drucker leads us down through corner number 1. Nice and easy out of corner number 2. Everyone's hoping to try to keep it pointed the right direction out there on the Speedway. So far, everybody is through. Nobody's gone around, so that's good news. There's the 6, the 8 ride still there as well. They're still all pointing the right direction here. So far, nice and easy through corner 3 out of corner number 4. Everyone keeps it together here for a lap. So we do get a good green flag lap in. And now we start to see these drivers clicking off some laps. This is where things can get really, really opened up. Things can get spread out here. It is a tough racetrack to pass. Things are going to get really, really fun in a quick hurry as you got to make some big moves. You got to take some dive bombs out there and a few slide jumps to try to work yourself a little farther forward out there on the racetrack. As Colton Hardy has fallen back into 4th. You do see Combs up and into that 3rd position. Matt Hayden, though, sitting in that 5 ride right in the middle of the Black Betty Motorsports ride. So for Hayden, looking strong early on, but does he have enough to battle and beat potentially some of these beautiful trucks here? The 56 now sporting the From Energy machine. Normally we see him in a different paint scheme, but today going with the From Energy. We see Combs back there in the boot barn. The boot barn here this afternoon on board with that 28 ride, as you do see Colton Hardy get a good run here. Jumps to the outside, trying to find his way back up into that 3rd position as he battles there door to door, down through 1 and out of 2 here at Nashville Super Speedway for each and every one of these drivers. It's going to come down a lot of it to, just trying to make sure you got enough tire left here this afternoon. That's going to be the big question mark. That is going to be the big thing, I think, for a lot of these drivers, is making sure that your tires are good right down to the very end. You cannot burn through them super quick. And for a lot of these drivers, you only have 3 total sets of tires. So that means you can only get down pit side. You can only put 2 brand new sets on. If you burn through them too quickly, you could be in a really, really tough spot later in this race. You got 150 laps, so you really want to break this up here with our stage break being at lap 50. You kind of go 50 laps on the first set. You go another 50 laps on the second set. Your final set is for that final 50 laps. Now, you can kind of break it up a little bit more, maybe kind of stretch, that middle set or the first set out a little farther, try to save an extra set back there for later in the race. But that's going to take a lot of commitment and a lot of tire saving to keep yourself in the action, to keep yourself in the battle here this evening. As each and one of these drivers doing a fantastic job, man. Some great racing, some great battling out there on the Speedway, and they're all looking really good right now. So you do see the 87 ride of Joe Yakes make a big move down to the inside here. I believe that was down to the inside of Eric Hagdahl. He will move forward, and here comes that 7 ride of Harrison Crosby as well. Crosby having himself a heck of a night, sporting that America 250 Johnny Johnson Motorsports number 7 ride. He finds himself just on the verge of our top 5 here this evening. I believe sitting back in about the 7th position, 8th position out there on the racetrack. Looking really, really good early on here for that America 250 number 7 ride. So these guys looking really fresh out there, man. They're looking really fresh, looking really strong here this evening. As you see, our top 3 still right there tight together. You can throw Brody Bente right into that mix as these drivers doing a really, really good job, man. This has been a good start. Obviously, we saw that first wreck, that first issue, but for the most part, obviously we saw that first wreck on the opening lap. For the most part, man, it's been really, really solid, good, hard racing. Some pretty good door-to-door action as well, but drivers stacked right up on top of one another. Makes it really, really fun, really, really interesting here for everybody to enjoy, because you see your driver right on top of one another, right there, ready to pounce, ready to try to make some moves, trying to make something happen out there on the speedway. And for the 56, a Drucker, right now sporting a really, really fast-looking ride. Obviously able to hold on to the top spot, but how much is he holding back? How much is maybe Matt Hayden or Colton Hardy, some of these other drivers that could be kind of just right now in a, focus mode of save, save, save. Save fuel, save tire, just trying to, be patient out there on the racetrack. A lot of laps, a lot of time to try to work yourself forward. That you do not have to be super aggressive. You do not have to make big moves and put yourself into a bad situation early on. Even if you give up a spot or two, it may be better in the long run to just kind of sit back, relax, let this race come to you, work your way into it in the long run, and not give it away on the short run out there on the speedway. As the 56 of Drucker continues to hold on to the top spot, the 5 ride of Matt Hayden sticking right there with him on his back bumper in position number 2. Colton Hardy is there in that 3rd position. Brandon Combs, the number 63 of Brody Bente. Great run here for Bente up inside our top 5 early on this evening. Eric Heckel's back up into 6. And then is that the 6 or no, that's the, yeah. Yanks is in 6th. Hankel's there in 7th. The 48 ride of Brendan McNutt up into the 8th position. Skylar Berry there in 9th. And now a battle for position number 10 is Jesse Galloway trying to take it away from Mr. Harrison Crosby. Looks like Crosby up on the high side trying to roll this outside groove, just can't quite get there, can't quite hold in the throttle. In the 4 ride of Callaway will steal that 10th position. So unfortunately now for the Johnny Johnson Motorsports number 7 ride, Harrison Crosby going to lose another spot out there on the speedway. Tough break there for Crosby as he's going to fall back another spot here in this one. Back behind him, you do see the 77 ride of Evan Schilling, the 3 of Mr. Keith Prince. There's that 6 of Rusty Modesty, the 92 ride of Clinton Woodbees. They're still in the battle here. Did not lose a lap throughout that initial wreck, that initial contact, so he's still right in the fight here this evening. Same with that 8 ride of Ronald Kingston, the 36 ride of Stephen Luttrell back there, as well as the 32 of Brian Cunningham. And that is our field here this evening. So everyone, for the most part, able to keep themselves, pointing in the right direction. Now starting to click some good laps up here as we're going to quickly bounce out of this. We're going to try and see if we can get SDK working here. So bear with us for a second, chat. We're going to see if we can get something working here with this. Hopefully this does work. Go back to full screen for you. As our race leaders, you start to see a little bit more of a gap starting to open up, and unfortunately for Colton Hardy, he's going to fall outside of our top 3. Now going to fall outside of our top 5 as the 97 continues to fall backwards out there on the racetrack as Yakes is now around, and we already saw Brody Bente and Brandon Combs get around this 97 ride. So unfortunately for Colton Hardy, kind of fall in the wrong direction out there on the speedway. That is not a fun spot to be. As we see everyone else here trying to work their way forward, trying to figure out a way to gain these positions, as you do see the 46 ride of Skylar Berry's worked his way around Brendan McNutt. You see the 63 trying to find his way around the 28 ride of Combs here. A lot of drivers doing a pretty good job, a pretty solid effort here. Just, really bouncing around, really making some good moves out there on the racetrack, and it's been pretty fun seeing, what these drivers have and how they're kind of rolling out there on the speedway and the strategies that they're using right here on the racetrack has been pretty dang interesting. Trying to see if I can read anything in the Discord here on SDK to see if we can get this working a little bit better here this evening. I think it should be good. Saying that they have kind of done some updates to it, so I'm hoping that it works. We're gonna try something again here real quick, chat. Real quick. Gonna close it down real quick and open it back up. Hope this works. No, it didn't. What in the world? Alrighty. Yeah, see, that's what they've been running into is issues with that. No, we do not want to join the Discord. Gosh darn it. We're already in the Discord. Why is that not working? Man, that's annoying. That is annoying. Alright, we're just going to have to deal with it here, or potentially we may have to exit out, come back in. Maybe that'll work. Oh, man. Just sucks that that does not want to work, and our overlay does not want to pop out for us, chat. We hate not having it there. It makes our job that much tougher as well, trying to figure out which position drivers are in, and you know, who's running best laps, who's making passes, and everything else, and being able to quickly click through, you know, accidents and things that have happened, and kind of having a logbook of all that stuff, and then obviously just knowing, you know, which car is which and where they are on the racetrack and kind of who they're battling around in a heartbeat compared to just trying to do it off the top of the dome and everything else. You do see Jesse Calloway kind of fall back here a little bit. Same with that 48 rider, Brendan McNutt, who's still right here in this battle, but Barry's around him. The 4 rider, Calloway, still all over his back bumper. You do see the 97 of Colton Hardy has fallen back a little bit more as Hardy now rolls there in about the 7th position, 8th position out there on the racetrack. So unfortunately, he's fallen back a little bit more. Brendan McNutt looks like, honestly, for the 97, all trying to hang on to is now, here we go. We do see Joe Yakes taking a peek to the inside of the 63 of Brody Bente. So Bente and Yakes now door to door. This is a battle for position number 4. Is out in front of them. Our top 3 starting to pull away here. 56 of Drucker, the 5 of Matt Hayden, and that number 28 of Brandon Combs starting to pull farther and farther away from the rest of the field here, and that is definitely making them feel pretty dang good. They're definitely loving that. That's definitely helping them out a ton out there on the Speedway, trying to work forward and trying to push forward here on the racetrack, and now kind of setting themselves up nicely here to try to earn some good stage points as we are 27 laps in to this run, 27 laps into this race. So we're getting down closer and closer to the end of our stage here. Stage number 1 going to come to a close in a quick hurry, and that's some good stage points on the line here for potentially Drucker, Hayden, Combs, 1, 2, and 3 out there on the Speedway as they've given themselves a pretty good gap now between them and Yakes. Yakes has cleared that 63 machine, and now here comes Eric Hagel trying to follow him right on through. You can already see the 87 trying to break away from the rest of that pack as they kind of just slow it all together right here. Very still in the mix. You do see Steven Luttrell now into the battle here as well in that beautiful 36 ride, and it seems like they're a little log jammed right here, and unfortunately it's killed a lot of their speed. It has slowed this pack down a ton. As, oh, look out, close call there for Colton Hardy and the 4 rider Jesse Calloway on corner entry. Luckily enough, they're able to keep pointing the right direction. Looks like Hardy's trying to get down low. He sees that the 63 ride here in that outside groove, maybe holding things up a little bit. The outside lane just continue to fall back, and I think for right now, the 97 ride sees that. He's hoping to get down low. He's hoping to try to get to the inside here to avoid kind of getting ran over out there on the racetrack. So definitely trying to make some big moves here, trying to find his way up and through the pack and trying to put himself into a good position, but gotta make some good moves, man. He's gonna be able to try to find that extra lane out there on the Speedway if Colton Hardy wants to try to get around this 63 ride, and unfortunately he's just kind of stuck in right behind him. Can't get down low because the 46 rides there. Can't really roll the throttle, or else he's going to have to bury in that 36 of Stephen Luttrell, get around him here as well. So he's just trying to push this 63 around the racetrack, hoping that maybe clears that 46 of Skylar Berry, and for Colton can try to roll around all of them here, but I think right here he's kind of fallen back far enough. I think right now he needs to get in line behind that 36, or else he's going to be at risk of losing another spot, as the 3 rider Keith Prince has now joined this battle. He's joined this fun, and now here he comes to the inside of the 97, and it looks like for Hardy, that may be another spot lost out there on the racetrack, just kind of stuck in behind the 63 machine as of right now. So they're going to keep on battling. We'll have to keep an eye on this fight here. 63 does push up the racetrack. Here comes Hardy, going to kind of roll down to the bottom, to the middle. Looks like he is going to get to the inside here, the 63, and now look to try to pass him finally here himself after being held up there for what felt like an eternity into that 97 truck, kind of getting stuck in behind a driver that may be struggling a little bit more here on the, a little bit more worn out tires here on the concrete, and unfortunately for Bente, definitely falling backwards now on the Speedways. Here comes the 77 of Mr. Schilling. The 92 rider Clinton Woodby's right there ready to strike as well, trying to get around this 63 machine as well. But unfortunately for Bente, falling backwards. The 97 of Colton Hardy definitely not going the right direction either out there on the Speedway. Stephen Luttrell, Barry, that 4 rider Jesse Calloway doing a fantastic job. They worked their way up inside our top 10. Eric Hagdal there inside the top 5, and same with Yanks trying to chase down our top 3, but our top 2 starting to even break away now from our 3rd place driver. Pretty good gap now, kind of separating all of our top 3. They were tight together there for a little while. Now it seems like Drucker pulling a little farther away. That 5 ride of Matt Hayden's right there. He's fallen back a bit, a few truck lengths back of that number 56 ride. And you got to wonder here, does Hayden have anything left in the tank? Does he have enough to try to jump up there, battle, try to duke it out, and maybe steal the stage win away from the 56 of Drucker here this evening? Right now, just kind of stuck in behind him as we're trying to get SDK to work here, chat, or overlay here, so you guys can see the scoreboard and everything else. I can't see it either, so it makes it really, really tough for us. We have one more thing we're going to try here during our stage break. We may have to leave the session and load back in, so do bear with us as we may miss a little bit of time, maybe go through some of our commercials throughout the stage break there and give us an opportunity to kind of get that working and get that fixed up here so that everyone can enjoy the amazingness of SDK scoreboard and making life a little bit easier for us up here in the booth as well. But for Drucker, he's out front. He's feeling A-OK as he heads down and across the line. He will click off lap number 36 here this evening. So 36 laps completed, 14 laps left to go in stage number 1 here this evening. So our first stage quickly coming to a close here after an opening lap slide out of the 92 ride of Clinton Woodby that kind of got the party started here for everybody. Really kind of woke the field up, and I think for a lot of them they realized, all right, let's get settled in here a little bit. Maybe pushing a little too hard, maybe, taking the new tires, the fresh tires for granted, a little bit too quickly out there on the Speedway. Let's lay some rubber down. Let's build up a little bit of grip and kind of get a little bit locked in here to start this race off, and I think they've done a fantastic job of that. Some great racing, a lot of nose-to-tail, door-to-door action for a while out there on the Speedway. Things have kind of opened up a little bit more here as Drucker down across the line will lead another lap here. So 12 laps left to go in this stage. Hayden is in second with the 28 ride of Mr. Combs right there in position. Number 3 here on the Speedway. Back and forth, it's Joe Yanks in that 5th position. It's the 11 of Eric Hagdal. Hagdal starting to gain a little company here himself as the 48 of Brennan McNutt back in 6th right there with him. And the 4 of Jesse Calloway sits in that 7th position. He'd love to join the top 5 here and get around both these drivers just in front of him. Skylar Berry, Steven Luttrell, they're in, I believe, the 8th and 9th position, and rounding out our top 10 is that 3 machine of Keith Prince. Just outside the top 10, you do see Colton Hardy, Clinton Woodby, the 77 ride of Evan Schilling right there in that 13th position. Back behind him, the 8 of Ronald Kingston rolls there in 14th, and rounding out our top 15 is the Sinclair Dyno Care number 6 of Modesty. Now, Modesty may be a lap or 2 down here. We'll have to keep an eye on that because he may be a lap or 2 down, and that may keep him at the rear of the field and move Brody Bente into the 15th position. And then we do see Harrison Crosby and that 32. Brian Cunningham back there at the rear of the field. So everyone doing a fantastic job. Some great battling for the most part. I think everyone except for potentially maybe the 6 of Modesty, who had towed his car down pit side after that opening lap wreck. Heavy damage down into the infield fence. And unfortunately for the 6 ride, I believe he may have lost a lap or 2 there, which could definitely set him back a ton here. If he's 2 laps down, he should get a lucky dog here at the stage break, but if he went 2 laps down, we may not see another caution flag. He may not get another opportunity for a lucky dog to get back into the battle here this evening, and that may kind of leave him high and dry and a lap down all night long, unless if he can race his way to the front of the field and unlap himself. It could be a very, very steep hill to climb here if you're that 6 of Modesty. So keep an eye on it and see kind of how things play out for that 6 machine. But out in front, the 56, the From Energy ride, feeling A-okay as he sits here at the front of the field, pulling farther and farther away from Matt Hayden, and just kind of on cruise control here, looking for another stage win on this season, man. He has been an absolute beast when it comes to, you know, all the points here in this season. He's been getting a lot of points, obviously a lot of wins already on the year, but a lot of stage points to go with it as 11 races into this season. I mean, Drunker's gotten 6 wins, 7 top 5s, I believe now 9 stage wins out of the 11 races. 9 stage wins. Looking for stage win number 10 here this evening in our, 12th race of the season? That is absolutely insane. That is absolutely insane work out of Drunker, and that's the kind of performances that have helped him build up an 81-point difference here between himself and his teammate Brandon Combs. Combs, who has 1 win, has 1 stage win as well, unfortunately does find himself now, 81 points behind his teammate for the top spot here in our regular season standings. Matt Hayden comes into this race, scored back in that 3rd position. Now he's about 9 points back of Brandon Combs for position number 2 here in the regular season standings, but that also puts him roughly about 90 points behind the 56 Ryder Drucker in our point standings only after 11 laps of racing, man. That is absolutely insane work out of this 56 and the dominance that he's kind of shown here each and every single week, every track we go to, whether it's a road course, super speedway, one of these concrete or asphalt racetracks. It doesn't matter what the surface is, what the style of the racetrack is. The 56 ride tends to find himself up towards the front of the field and leading some laps out there on the speedway. And for the From Energy 56 ride, feeling a-okay. It's easy breezy, lemon squeezy here at the front of the field, and just continue to click off laps here in that From Energy ride here this evening. So he's looking really, really strong, really good early on, and looking for that first stage win of the day, or only stage win of the day. So there's only about 2 laps left to go here in this stage. So he's feeling A-okay, man. He's still got a massive lead, a massive gap here between himself and Hayden. Combs holding on to that third position, but he does see the 87 ride starting to reel him in a little bit here. Yanks is closing the gap there on that number 28 machine, as you do see Brendan McNutt working the outside here on Eric Hegdel, trying to steal that fifth position away from the 11 ride. Jesse Calloway's right there ready to pounce as well as they head down across the line here. I believe that is going to complete lap number 48. 2 laps left to go here in this stage, and man, pretty good, man. I mean, after that opening lap wreck, I thought we were going to be in for a bit of a long night, a lot of issues, a lot of slides, and a lot of tore-up race trucks here this evening, but these guys have done an incredible job getting things on track here rather quickly. I thought definitely we're going to see a couple more quick caution flags, but these guys have done a great job. And now on the final lap here of stage number 1. If you're the 56 rider Drunker, you're feeling absolutely fantastic here with a massive lead, a big gap here between himself and that 5 rider Matt Hayden. Has no pressure to his back bumper as he heads down through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4. It's the 56 of Jack Drucker who will win our first stage of the day. Back in second, it's Matt Hayden. Third goes to the 28 ride of Brandon Combs. And then we do see, I believe it was the 87 of Joe Yanks. And then we will see 4 of Jesse Calloway may have been able to steal that 5th position away from Hegdel and Brendan McNutt as they'll fall back to 6th and 7th. There in 8th was Clinton Woodby. 9th was the 77 ride of Evan Schilling. And rounding out our top 10 there was the 46 of Skylar Berry. Then you do see Keith Prince, Stephen Luttrell, the 97 of Colton Hardy, Rusty Modesty, the 8 rider Ronald Kingston, the 63 of Brody Bente, Harrison Crosby, the number 32 machine of Brian Cunningham, and the Shitty Coolers, the 69 of Jesse Wise back there at the rear of the field here in stage number 1 this afternoon, as we'll get all these drivers stacked up, racked up, ready to rock and roll here for our final stage of the day. But first, pit stops here under our first stage break of the evening. You're going to see everybody come down pit road, get fuel. Everyone should be getting tires here, but we are going to be back in just a second. We're going to get our SDK working here, chat, so bear with us here for a second. We'll be right back in just a few more moments. rock and roll, ready to rumble, ready to get back into the action. Now let's see if we can get this bad boy working. Let's give this a quick little refresh. Hope that fixes things up. Hopefully that gets it working. There it is. All right, here we go. Back to battle. Green flag back into the air for Mr. Drucker. Drucker gets a great launch. Another big jump there for that 56 ride as the From Machine out in front of his Black Betty teammate. The Boot Barn ride of Mr. Combs up and in to position number 2. Hayden's there in third with Joey Yanks there in that 4th position. Eric Kegdal, Jesse Calloway are top 6. Brennan McNutt's there in 7th. Clinton Woodby's in 8th with Skylar Berry and Evan Schilling rounding out the top 10 here on the Speedway. Ronald Kingston's there in 11th with Keith Prince, Brody Bente, Colton Hardy, that number 15 of Brian Cunningham, or 32 of Brian Cunningham back in the 15th position, battling to the inside of that 97, trying to steal that spot away from him. As Laura Stacy in the chat, what's good, Laura? Laura in the chat showing the love here this evening, says go Hayden. Hayden right now sitting in that 3rd spot here on the racetrack. Came home 2nd there in stage number 1. Got some pretty good points there, but obviously kind of surrounded by the 2 drivers that are in front of him in those point standings. 90 points behind that number 56 of Drunker, only about 9 points behind Brandon Combs, which he did gain a little bit there throughout that first stage. And now you do see Combs bouncing off the fence there, got up into the outside wall, exiting corner number 2. That opened up the door again for Matt Hayden to roll right on by him, and there he goes. Hayden back up into 2nd. Combs now just trying to hang on to it and try to keep the Boot Barn ride pointed in the right direction. Is Joe Yanks and Eric Kegdal right there ready to pounce, ready to try to steal that 3rd spot away from the 28 ride. Clinton Woodby rolls there in 6th with Brandon McNutt back in 7th. Jesse Calloway in that 8th position with Skylar Berry and Evan Schilling rounding out our top 10. Ronald Kingston's there in 11th with Keith Prince, Brody Bente, Brian Cunningham, and Colton Hardy are top 15. Harrison Crosby's back in 16th as Rusty Modesty, who unfortunately did go 2 laps down throughout that first stage of the day. Unfortunately for Modesty, he is still a lap down, so he's going to need a caution flag to get himself back into the action, to get himself back in the battle. He needs a yellow flag here rather quickly to try to get himself back into the fun. Jesse Wines did make an unscheduled green flag pit stop right there, coming down pit road back on lap number 56. So for Wise, unfortunately, finds himself now a couple laps down. I think about 2 laps down out there on the Speedway, and for the 36 ride of Stephen Luttrell, also multiple laps down, about 10 laps down out there on the racetrack now for this number 36. So unfortunately, quite a bit farther back here, definitely in a bit of a tough spot there after that opening lap issue, the opening lap contact, and putting himself into a really, really tough position here throughout this race. But for the 56 of Drucker, he's feeling A-okay here. Our top 3 in our first stage of the day can align all right back up to where they were with Drucker, Hayden, and Combs. Our top 3 out there on the Speedway. Yanks rolls there in 4th, and now we do see a new driver joining our top 5, and that's the 92 machine of Clinton Woodby. Woodby we saw run into that opening lap issue, got sideways, kind of went around up there in corner number 2 and kind of created the controversy and the chaos in our opening lap of action. Now he's been able to get that truck fixed up. He's been able to battle his way up here and now sits inside our top 5 and looking to try to keep on marching forward, showing that he's got some pretty good speed in that 92 machine, and he's ready to use it to try to work his way to the front of the field. But right in front of him, they're door to door as Yanks trying to take that spot away from the 28, but looks like the 92 would be. He's going to go to the high side. He wants to try to work his way right around all of them, and that's what it looks like may happen here, as he's able to keep his foot in the throttle through 3 and 4. He will gain a spot over Yanks. Now looking to gain a spot over the 28 ride here as well. Brandon Combs in for Clinton Woodby. He is marching his way forward, and unfortunately for Jack Drucker, oh no, Drucker may have been disconnected from the server here. An internet issue here. Race control driver Jack Drucker of the car 56 has been sent to the pits due to connection issues. Oh, no. Heartbreaker for Jack Drucker, man. That may have just ended his night after what started out what looked to be kind of his day here at the Speedway. Qualified in the pole at every lap throughout that first stage. Won the first stage, but now finds himself going multiple laps down, parked out pit sign due to connection issues. And unfortunately, his day at the Speedway may have just come to an end. And that opens up the door here massively for drivers like Matt Hayden. Hayden wishes that maybe he would have had those internet connection issues about, 10, 15 laps earlier, because that might have won him the stage. But if it could win him the race, potentially may make him just as happy here as Hayden out in front, leading the charge now. Clinton Woodby's up and into second. Joe Yanks there in third now, with Skylar Berry there in fourth, and Brandon Combs falling all the way back into that fifth spot here on the Speedway. Jesse Calloway's there in sixth, with Eric Hagdal, Brennan McNutt, Ronald Kingston, and Evan Schilling door to door there. That is for the 9th and 10th position out there on the Speedway. Kingston trying to battle back. He got tore up, got some pretty solid damage in that first wreck of the day as well for the Domino's number 8 machine. So for right now, he's trying to stick with it, trying to keep himself in the battle, but obviously he's got a lot of work still to do here to try to keep on moving himself forward, try to put himself into a good spot out there on the Speedway. But everyone's doing a really, really good job again, man. Another good restart, solid restart. No one's really made any huge mistakes here, and we thought it was 150, so they've shortened this race evening, because this definitely said 150 laps, and it's now 140 laps. So we get a few less laps here this evening, so that shortens things up ever so slightly, and that makes that final set maybe a little bit easier to use, knowing that instead of maybe a 50-lap run, you only got to get a 40-lap run out of them. It'll be fun to see kind of what the game plan is here for a lot of these drivers. Obviously, fuel was pretty good for everybody to be able to make it there throughout that first stage. Obviously, the caution laps may have helped out a little bit, but no one having to make green flag pit stops definitely does work into their favor. But here throughout the rest of this run, it'll be fun to see who's going to be able to make the right calls, the right moves, and come down pit road when need be at the right time to potentially put yourself into the winning position, whether that's pitting early or coming down pit road a little later than everybody else. This tire fall off will be a bit of an issue here later and later into this run. Already here throughout this run, we see about 3/10, 4/10 of tire fall off here just over the last 10, 15 laps or so. Well, I guess 15, almost 20 laps now, so the tires are holding up pretty nicely here this evening. Good to have SDK working again, so that way we can kind of see. Glad that they were able to get that figured out rather quickly, so that way it would actually work nicely for us here this evening. And now we get to see kind of where that tire fall off is and how much these drivers may be struggling out there on the concrete. Right now, Matt Hayden doesn't be looking the struggle here at all. He's still running really, really solid lap times, so that may hurt him in the long run. Right now, he sits, though, about 9/10 of a second in front of Clinton Woodby, who's there in position number 2. Yakes in third. Skylar Berry's up into fourth. Combs there in fifth. Now, Combs had followed back from that restart, so you got to wonder if maybe Combs take it a little bit easier here as we're midway through this race now. So 71 laps now completed out of 140, so just past the halfway marker here this evening. And big question mark will be is when do these drivers decide to hit pit road? When do you make this pit stop? When do you make something happen down pit road to help yourself out here this evening? It could be a little later, as we do see Drucker is back in here. So Drucker has rejoined the race. He is rolling back out onto the Speedway now. He is just in front of Steven Luttrell. Luttrell is still, unfortunately, now about, 10 laps down, something like that. 10 laps down. I think Drucker also being 10 laps down, but he's going to be just in front of Steven Luttrell. Actually, lap him for the 10th time here in this run. Still a heartbreaker there for Drucker, obviously. not a position or a place that he wanted to be here today. And if this stays clean and green, I'm sure he would love to have seen how that one would have played out for him, and potentially just a dominating day for the 56 ride. Was kind of lurking in the weeds here again, and now obviously with his connection issues, you know, it's taken him out of it. But now can we see potentially one of his Black Betty Motorsports teammates kind of, you know, pick up the slack and roll their way up to the front and put themselves into maybe winning positions? Is Brandon Combs, Brandon McNutt still inside the top 10 here, top 5, so they're still doing pretty good. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe they can work their way forward and put themselves into the position their teammate was prior to his connection issues. As Brandon Combs here in that 5th position, trying to get back after the QH Designs number 46 ride of Skylar Berry. Berry trying to hold on to position number 4, but I think you're going to start to see some of those drivers that were able to get around him early on start to fall back here a little bit. Combs going to start to come a little bit more to life, start making some more passes out there on the speedways. I believe he was kind of being a little bit more selective there on the moves he was making and how quickly he wanted to kind of give up those positions and really not battle for them. You got to imagine that he was trying to save a little bit of tire there in that boot barn number 28 ride, and now hoping that he can try to work his way forward and try to put himself into a you know, potentially winning position that his teammate was in just a handful of laps ago. But for right now, it's Matt Hayden who picks up where the 56 ride let off, and that is out in front here. Now, he has seen the gap shrink a little bit here. Clinton Woodby has been reeling him in about a 10th or so off of the lead that Matt Hayden was able to build. So Hayden now out in front, still just trying to keep and maybe manage that gap right now. That may be the key to success here, is just managing the gap. Not opening up the door, not making a huge mistake where it allows the 92 to get right to your back bumper. But if you can kind of keep that, you know, half a second to a second gap between yourself and the 92, where you're not really burning up too much of your tire too quickly and having problems later in the run, but also at the same point in time saving a little bit. So if they start to make a push, if they start to try to make something happen to get around you, you may have a little bit left in the tank that you can kind of get back into the throttle, get back under power, and just kind of, you know, try to run away from or hold them off so that way they can't steal that number 1 position from you out there on the racetrack. And that's exactly what I feel, and is trying to find a way out in front after his abysmal start to the race. Definitely not what we expected in the 92 run. I'm sure that one definitely got him off guard as well, getting that sideways, that loose down through 1 and 2 on the opening lap. Kind of sent it in there. It just did not have the grip that he was hoping that it would have, and unfortunately that truck stamped out on him, and it cost him and Stephen Luttrell obviously some good position, some good track position, some solid race trucks here. Is luckily enough for Woodby, he got the least probable damage out of that ordeal. Unfortunately for drivers like Rossi Modesty, went up going a couple laps down, had major damage on the Sinclair Dyno Care number 6 ride. Still finds himself 1 lap down or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack, as he had just completed lap number 77. Our race leaders just completed lap number 80, so he is a couple laps down now for this 6 ride. So unfortunately, making an additional pit stop, trying to get a lap back throughout that stage. He was able to make it 66 laps. I think him, Wise, and maybe Stephen Luttrell all trying to stretch it out a little bit there, trying to gain something back throughout the pit strategy. Unfortunately, just did not quite work out for them, and they've all been down pit road since our stage break, and that puts Modesty another lap down, puts Luttrell another lap down or 2 as well here, and unfortunately definitely stuck deeper in the field, and not a spot they'd want to be. But we do see right here, this is a battle for what could be the lucky dog spot. Modesty works his way around Jesse Wise. Wise falls back into 17th. Modesty up into 16th here, as you do see the 56 of Drucker there with him. Now Drucker, unfortunately, is multiple laps down, but into the lucky dog spot here for Modesty. I mean, he finds himself right now 2 laps down, but if there is a caution flag, if the yellow does fly, then he could at least get a lap back again. If things cycle through and he sees all these drivers hit pit road, then that could put him back into a better position where he's only one lap down, then could catch a break with a caution, as we do see Jesse Wise heading back down pit side here, unfortunately, for that Sonic graphic design shitty coolers number 69 ride, making another green flag pit stop here, going to set him back even farther here this evening. But out in front, Matt Hayden continues to hold on to the race lead here, with Clinton Woodby back there in tow. They are sitting 1 and 2, and now are starting to pull away from our third place driver. Brandon Combs has found his way back up into third here, but for Combs, finds himself about 2 seconds back of Matt Hayden, about a second and a half. Third to second place driver out there on the racetrack. Yanks falls into fourth. Barry's back into fifth now as Eric Hagdahl working to his inside. Jesse Calloway there in seventh, trying to keep on working his way forward. Great run so far here this evening for Jesse Calloway there in seventh. Brendan McNutt's there in eighth with Keith Prince, and Ronald Kingston rounding out our top 10 here this evening. But for Matt Hayden, nice and easy. Down and out of corner number 4, back down across the start-finish line here for Matt Hayden. He will complete lap number 85. So 85 laps down. 55 laps left to go here in this one, as we'll jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what we want you to do right now is crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. a beautiful crank it up session here this evening as the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League putting together a great show, another great race for all of us to enjoy here this evening. Is out in front. It's the 92 of Clinton Woodby. Woodby's worked his way to the point, but he's got Brandon Gomes there in second, both working their way around Matt Hayden. Hayden now falls back into that third position, still right there with them, and this could be won or lost down pit side as we are starting to see some green flag pit stops fly as the 97 of Colton Hardy hits pit road. We did see Joe Yanks there during the crank it up also work his way down pit side. So a couple of these drivers already starting to hit pit lane as we, we're into our final 40 laps of racing action here. I feel this is kind of the final stint for everyone to roll. Kind of just ran, 250 lap stints where, tire wears kind of, use and abuse your tires a little bit. Now it's all about when do you want to hit pit road for this final pit stop. How far can you take it on fuel, and how far do you want to take it on fuel here? And will it be one of our race leaders that kind of breaks things open and brings everybody down pit side kind of all around the exact same time? We'll have to wait and see, because for our top three, it could be that reasonable down to kind of, sit back and relax a little bit. I'm sure with Hayden, he may kind of see that right now. He was a little bit more aggressive on the tires early on in the run, and that kind of, had him out front there a little bit, but then started to slowly lose those tires, and eventually we saw Woodby and Combs obviously get around him here. So maybe thinking back on it, maybe taking a little bit easier to start the run, maybe try to save a little bit extra tire for later on. Maybe that is the game-winning strategy, or just being as close as he can here to Woodby and that 28 of Combs, and pitting just a couple laps after they do could be enough to make a huge difference, where late in the race he could be the one on attack, or the one with potentially the race lead, and just being able to stay ahead of them, pull away from them, and not allow them to catch up to him with slightly better tires. So I think for a bunch of these drivers, that's got to be the game plan. You don't really necessarily want to be the first down pit road making the green flag pit stop sometimes, but being the last down pit road sometimes can't be the winning move. But you got to have enough time that you can gain back any of the track position that you lose to try to leapfrog your way back up there. As we do see Jesse Calloway now down pit road in that 4 ride. So Calloway hits pit lane. We did see Brody Bente also just down pit road in the ride that Bente QH Designs number 63 machine. So good to see Brody still rolling out there. Jesse Y still parked down pit road, unfortunately, since lap number 80. Stephen Luttrell, unfortunately, has not continued since lap 67. So looks like his day has come to an early close. For Drunker, our early race leader and pole sitter, our stage 1 winner, unfortunately have that connection issue himself, falling, 10 laps down, 9 laps down, whatever it may be. Unfortunately, just in a really, really difficult spot for right now if you're Mr. Drunker, as that definitely does not help your cause or your case to try to pick up a big dump here this evening. As we did see Clinton Woodby last time around hit pit road. Now this time we see Mr. Combs hit pit lane. So Woodby and Combs both down pit side here. Matt Hayden elects to stay out. So Hayden, I think, is kind of going in the same notebook as what we were. Maybe run a little bit longer here, trying to have those bit fresher tires later in the run. That could be the difference maker between, being a sitting duck or chasing down the ducks in front of you. So I think for the 5 ride, that is definitely his game plan. So he's going to stay out for at least another lap here. Maybe allow a little bit of tire burn off there for Combs, who's still down pit road, just getting done his service, just rolling back out there. Woodby's already back out there. It'll be interesting to see kind of where they get lined up as they cycle back around. You do see Combs down on the apron, and Woodby up on the outside, able to get a great run. And for the 92, he does jump back in front of the 28 ride and has himself a decent little bit of a gap here, and a car in between them now with that 77 ride right there of Mr. Evan Schilling. Now Schilling still has to make a green flag pit stop here, so he has not come down pit road as of yet, but that does give a little bit of a gap there for that number 92 ride over Combs. Now Combs going to make quick work of the 77 with the fresher tires, so he gets around That 77 rather quickly. The 8 right now in between them here. That is Ronald Kingston. Kingston still on older tires here as well in the Domino's number 8 machine here. And now, unfortunately for Ronald, he's going to see this 56 catch up, or not 56, the number 28 catch up to him and get around him here rather quickly. And we're starting to see him actually reel in Clinton Woodby quite a bit here as well. Woodby's got about 1.2 seconds between himself and Combs. Did see Skylar Barry hit pit road, so Barry makes his pit stop. Now we do see Matt Hayden still rolling out there, but here we go. Here comes Hayden. So Hayden hits pit lane about 5 laps, 4 laps after we saw Clinton Woodby and Brandon Combs both down pit road. So a little bit later in the run, in the 5 ride finally hits his pit lane, and this is going to be interesting. Having 4 or 5 lap fresher tires could put him into a big hole coming out of the pits, but could work into his favor in the long run here, especially with only 30 laps left to go in this race. Hagdahl does stay out and is going to stay out for at least another lap. Looks like Keith Prince on that same game plan, and for right now, the 7 right of Harrison Crosby might be on that same routine here as well for the Johnny Johnson Motorsports ride. So Joe Yakes is currently our race leader as things cycle back around, but how long will it be as he's got about 7 lap older tires than Clinton Woodby. Woodby here, he's reeling them in fairly quickly. He's definitely chewing away at that time, catching up to the 87 ride, and this will give you a good look here at kind of what 7 lap fresher tires look like, as Joe Yanks was down pit road on lap 98 for Woodby, down pit road on lap 105. So 7 lap better tires. And we'll see how quickly he can reel in this 87 of Joe Yakes and try to work into his advantage here. Prince now leads the charge. Eric Hagdahl hits pit road. Take a look at Matt Hayden, where he kind of comes back out here. Now Hayden finds himself about 5 seconds behind Clinton Woodby and Brandon Combs. So this could be really fun. This could be really interesting to see, if he's able to make up that gap, if he is able to track these guys down and put himself, maybe into that winning position. As Hagdahl just getting done his pit stall, rolling back out on the Speedway. Harrison Crosby has hit pit road, so hasn't that 3 machine of Keith Prince. So we're cycled around here. I think everybody has made this green flag pit stop. Now that Prince has hit pit road, it should cycle the 87 right of Joe Yakes out in front. So Yakes now leads the way here. Yakes out in front. He leads the charge. He now shows these drivers what to do here at Nashville Super Speedway. So Joe Yanks, Clinton Woodby, Brandon Combs, our top 3 out here on the Speedway. That 1.5 second gap between Combs and Woodby has been cut in half here. It is now about 0.6 of a second between Woodby and Combs. So even just that 1 lap better tire may be working for the 28 rider. Maybe it's just a little bit more at ease for Clinton Woodby, trying to save a little bit more tire, trying to maybe balance things out a little bit there. Oh gosh, what in the heck? We were blanking there for a second. Packet loss. Why are we getting packet loss? We should be getting no packet loss, chat. Bear with us, bear with us. That's not supposed to happen. What in the world? Packet loss. Come on, iRacing. Get your stuff together here. Don't be doing that. But Yanks would be 1 and 2. Brandon Combs back there in 3rd. Matt Hayden there in that 4th position. Now, he's gained about half a second here on Woodby and Combs since from returning from the pits. I mean, he's going to have to gain a lot. I don't know if it's going to be early in this run or later in this run, but he's got a lot of ground if he wants to catch up to Yanks, Woodby, Combs here, and try to put this racer number 5 ride out in front and winning this race here this evening. That's Joe Yanks out in front here. The gap has, kind of been erased here. He did have about 2 seconds between himself and Woodby. I think Woodby, now that he starts to see the 28 right of Brandon Combs, got to catch up to him, start to put the pressure to his back bumper. I think the 92 ride has really started to pick up the pace once again himself, and they have now both just ran down this 87 ride of Yanks. Now, Yanks, it may work out. It may be a really, really good plan for him that could pay off massively, could put him in. For the most part, I don't know if he's going to be able to win this race, as you can already see. The 92 of Woodby and Combs right there, and making the move around him here. So Clinton Woodby retakes the race lead, and for our race leader at the green flag pit stops, the 92 ride back out in front. But for how long, as Brandon Combs is right there with him. Combs right there, ready to pounce, ready to make some moves, and a little farther back in position number 4 now is that 5 ride of Matt Hayden. Hayden still has about 4.7 or 4.3 seconds to make up here on Clinton Woodby. So he is reeling them in. If they start battling door to door for the race lead, could definitely help him out a little bit more in trying to draw back to Woodby and Combs, and hoping that, you know, staying out a little bit longer works into his favor here this evening. As of right now, it's not looking like the winning move, but after another 10 laps or so, it may be a whole different story, especially as these tires really start to fall away for the 92 and the 28 ride. Seems like it takes about that 15, 20 laps or so before the tires kind of start to fade away for a lot of these trucks. So that's going to be kind of the big question mark, is how long will the tires stand for the 92 and the 28 ride, and how much better can Matt Hayden's be towards the end of this run, that he can chase them down, not only catch up to them, but work his way around them. You got to have a good enough truck to do that as well. So Hayden's being the one on the move here. He's trying to be the aggressor for Woodby Combs. Right now, they're just trying to duke it out, not hoping to see that 5 ride again here this evening, anywhere towards their back bumper. Yanks, unfortunately, really nothing left in the tank there for our top 2, as Zach in that 3rd position and falling farther and farther away from our race leaders, but still got about almost 3 seconds between himself and Matt Hayden. So, I mean, Hayden just is not really gaining too much on these front runners here. Last time around, he ran a 31.17. Our race leaders ran a 31.28. So about a tenth of a second there quicker than our top 2 out there on the Speedway. I mean, that's really not going to cut it. A tenth of lap really isn't going to give him enough time to reel in Woodby and Combs to be able to try to, steal that second spot or the first spot away from them here this evening. He's going to need a lot more than that. That time as well was less than a tenth of a second between first and second and himself. So, I mean, he's just really not gaining C. He's going to need them to start battling. I think that's going to be the big question mark for him, is if they start to battle, if they start to beat and bang a little bit for this race leader, lap traffic kind of impedes their battle, then potentially it could bring Hayden right back into the hunt here at the front, as we do see Eric Hegdal has worked his way around Jesse Calloway now on the Speedway. Hegdal is back up inside our top 5, now into that 5th position. Now, Hegdal does have the freshest tires out of anybody inside of our top 10 out there on the Speedway. He rolls in that 5th position. Now, he's about 3.3 seconds behind Matt Hayden. He's got 2 lap better tires, so we'll see if he can, catch up to the 5 ride, but maybe he's got time. Maybe he can catch up to Joey Yakes himself, maybe even get that 2nd or 3rd position away maybe from Hayden or Combs. Would be out there on the racetrack. The tire game has definitely been interesting here this evening, with some of the drivers pitting quite a bit later than the others, and now having that slightly better tire, I mean, definitely works into their favor in the long run. And as it stays clean and green, everything seems to be working out fairly decently for the 11 and the 5 ride. Obviously for Hayden, hasn't really had much ground to make up or passes to make here, but for the 11 ride, definitely worked his way through some of that traffic rather quickly after returning to the racing surface, and he's just kind of powered through most of our top 10 and top 5 there to get back into that 5th position here on the racetrack. So we'll have to keep a close eye on this number 11, see how much farther forward he can get going. Brennan McNutt's up into 6th here as Callaway falls back to 7th. Skylar Berry's there in 8th, with Colton Hardy and Ronald Kingston rounding out our top 10. Keith Prince just outside the top 10 there in that Johnny Johnson Motorsports America 250 number 3 machine Evan Schilling's there in 12th. Brody Bente's back in 13th. And we do see Harrison Crosby. Brian Cunningham there in that 32 ride rolls in the 15th position. Modesty's there in 16th. Jack Drucker still out there in 17th. Jesse Wise down pit side in 18th. And unfortunately for Stephen Luttrell, an early exit to this race, scored back in the 19th position. So unfortunately for the 69 and the 36, looks like early days here for both of those drivers. For Drucker, who had connection issues, midway through this race, for our pole sitter and stage 1 winner. Tough break for him, as it's probably going to keep him from the winner's circle here this evening. But for the number 56 ride, just trying to gain everything he can out there, any kind of knowledge, just trying to get some practice in, make sure that, he can try to recover some points after, this will be a big hit for him. I think for him, he had the cushion, he had the points gap that kind of works into his favor. He was at least able to win the stage, earn that bonus point and everything else there, but for Drucker, I think it's going to definitely still cost him a handful or two of points here, and he'll see his Black Betty teammate there, Brandon Combs, and potentially Matt Hayden both gain quite a bit of points on him here this evening. So here we go. We do see Hayden finally caught up to Joe Yakes and now trying to work his way around Yakes. Now, unfortunately, the gap between him and Clinton Woodby has not gotten any smaller. If anything, it's actually growing out there, especially now with the 5 trying to complete the pass here on the 87 of Yakes. So unfortunately for Matt Hayden, for what he hoped to be kind of moving forward and gaining positions, is now actually kind of just stalled out here in that, third, fourth position here, battling with the 87 ride, and really has not gained anything and starting to lose actually in this battle to Clinton Woodby. So unless if he's waiting for the a caution flag or something, I don't think it's going to work out into his favor here. He's actually just trying to make this pass on the 87 ride, making it look really, really tough, as he's kind of run out of time here. We're down to our final 9 laps of racing action and trying to make up 5 seconds out there on the speedway. I don't think it's going to work in his favor, as Clinton Woodby leads the charge here. Can he hold off Brandon Combs for another 9 laps? Be 8 laps this time by the start-finish line. This could be a great fight here. This could be a great battle, as you do see Woodby pushing a little bit harder right there. Did get a piece of the outside fence, luckily enough. Looks like the fenders all still pointing the right direction. Doesn't look like any major wheel damage or anything that could affect his ride in these closing laps. That could open up the door there a little bit more for Brandon Combs to try to steal this win away from the 92. As Woodby out in front, the winning bid. Nascar Diecast and Card Breaks 92 machine out in front of the field, trying to put himself in that full throttle paints 92 ride up and in to victory lane here this evening. Down across the line here, he's only got 7 laps left to go. The gap between him and Combs, has kind of stayed pretty solid here. If anything, he's actually opened up a little bit more on the 28 ride. So it seems like Clinton Woodby, late in this run, starting to pull away a little bit, starting to leave these guys in the dust, and is working out nicely for him. Now we do see Matt Hayden has finally worked his way around Joe Yakes, but now has Eric Hagdahl working to his inside here. Hagdahl trying to steal that 3rd spot away. Hayden's going to have to try to duke it out with them for position number 3, as they are door to door down across the line here with 6 laps left to go. Battle for 3rd heating up, ladies and gentlemen. Yakes still right there, ready to pounce as well. He still wants to stay in this battle inside our top 5 here, and may try to squeeze an extra couple positions, extra couple points late in this race, as Woodby out in front. Down across the line, we'll see the high 5 from the flag man. 5 laps left to go here this evening. 5 more laps left to battle here today, and for the 92, man, he's feeling good out there on the racetrack, I think, right now. He's opened up a decent gap between himself and Brandon Combs. Only 5 laps left to go. All he's hoping for is to see this stay clean and green. Does not want to see a late race caution flag come out. Something that could potentially, knock him out of this winning position, or put him behind the 8 ball here to some of these other drivers that are back behind him. And that could definitely open up the door for them to try to steal the win away. So I think for the 92, he's just just really trying to hit his marks. Doesn't want to slow down, but doesn't want to make a big mistake, but also hoping to try to get to that white flag as quickly as possible, knowing that the yellow flag could fly and could potentially bring Hayden, Hagdal, Yanks, all these drivers right back to his rear bumper for some late race restarts. He does not want to see that happen. It's down across the line. It'll be 3 laps left to go here. Now that is the 56 of Drucker, who was our Stage 1 winner and our pole sitter here this evening. Unfortunately, went multiple laps down there after losing connection to the server midway through this race. And unfortunately for the 56, he ended up going multiple laps down, but here he is still battling out there, still having some fun and showing that, man, he'd have a truck to beat here this evening and that this win was potentially his if it, unfortunately, did not take him out of the server there earlier with the connection problems. And for the 56 of Drucker, showing right now that he can hold off this 92 of Clinton Woodby, that he could be in this winning position out there on the Speedway. He was last down pit road back on lap 107, so he does have a little bit older tire, or newer tire than the 92 as well right here, but just showing that maybe he's got the pace, maybe he's got the ability to kind of stay up front, but also maybe trying to slow down this 92 a little bit to allow his teammate Brandon Combs to catch up. Unfortunately for Combs, looks like he's got nothing left in the tank, and we do see the white flag fly. So the final time around here this evening from Nashville Super Speedway, Woodby's day started off a little bit rough, but later on it looks like it may pay off perfectly for him. Woodby nice and easy through the final time here at Nashville Super Speedway. It's the 92 of Clinton Woodby who will pick up the checkered flag here this evening in the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League. Clinton Woodby gets it done and gets to celebrate here this evening. Music City, man, Nashville, Tennessee. Woo! Doggy, this was fun. This was a heck of a race. These guys put together another amazing run. Some great battles. A lot of green flag laps here this evening, and Woodby at the end of the day able to come home with the checkered flag. Combs comes home at second. Eric Hagdal, great run for Hagdal coming home there in third. Matt Hayden falls back to fourth with Yakes, Brennan McNutt, Skylar Berry, Jesse Calloway, Keith Prince, and Ronald Kingston rounding out our top 10 here this evening. Great run there for Calloway, Prince, and Kingston here. All with some pretty solid runs, pretty good, decent performances out there on the speedways. Clinton Woodby burns down the house and celebrates here in Music City. We'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews. Post-race interviews going to come up next, man, and I think for Woodby, he's going to be pretty pumped up about this one, man. That was a weird way for him to start a race, but obviously a way that he, really wanted to finish this race, same with any one of these other drivers out there on the speedway, and that's celebrating here in Victory Lane. So we'll wait for him to jump into the waiting room, but for our top 3, we'll get him up here for their post-race interview, see what they got to say here. Obviously, Brandon Combs with a solid run back in that second position. Obviously, what it could have been for his teammate here this evening, unfortunately, didn't quite work out for him that way. But look, here we go. We're going to get our race winner up here into the booth. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for the 92 of Clinton Woodby. Hey, Clinton, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Clinton, man, what a run. What a race, brother. Take us back through this one. It's obviously things kind of got off to a little bit of a rough start here, running into an issue right out of the get-go on lap number 1, and all of a sudden, 140 laps later, you're the one that gets to celebrate here on the front straightaway this afternoon, man. Take us back through what's going through your mind here through this race.
Yeah, the old spin and win prevails again, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. That's like the 3rd or 4th time I've pulled that move of just going into turn 1 and not even trying to make a move, not trying to push it, not trying anything, and it just, no air, just track's dusty. I don't know. I just looting. Everything else kind of happened around me, so I just took blame for that and went to the back. So I kind of realized running back there, I was saving my tires, and I had a decent long run pace, but at the same time, you couldn't really. It was hard to pass if you caught somebody. You just had to you just had to hope you had more grip than them because that was the only way you were going to pass in any opposite lane. Uh, I think I was kind of a little bit aggressive on the top side there after the stage just to try to get some positions before I decided to just start riding, and then nobody really slowed down. So I'm like, okay, the race pace is pretty fast right now. Nobody's, chilling like I thought we would. So just kind of kept pushing, and somehow ended up catching Matt there before we pit under green. I don't know. It looked like he was running a good line. I don't know if he was just driving in a little harder than me. If it When I got out in front, I got slower, so I'm always faster trying to chase somebody. So sometimes clean air is your best friend, and sometimes chasing somebody's your best friend.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty tough to kind of know what's behind you and what you need to do to kind of game plan to keep those guys back behind you because you don't know if they're giving it everything they've got. So if you're pushing it at 95% and they're running at 85% and you haven't really made the right changes or anything else, and you got that fresh air, you can kind of all of a sudden find yourself being a bit of a sitting duck out there. And I think that's kind of what happened there to Hayden as all of a sudden he kind of fell back to you and you're able to work your way around, and we see Combs get around him there as well, and all of a sudden he's back in third and now kind of on his tippy toes and has to make some different decisions there in pit wise and stayed out a little bit longer, hoping that the fresher tires would allow him to hunt you guys down. But late in this race, it just didn't seem like the 4 or 5 lap fresher tires really made any difference. He was able to gain about a second and a half on you, then you started to gain back on him there, in the closing 9, 10 laps of this race.
Yeah, it was kind of just a guessing game when I came to pit road. I think 1 or 2 people kind of came in before I did, but I was going to go at lap 100, and I decided to just go a few more to just. It was the last set of tires we had to put on, so you kind of wanted to save them as long as you could before you put them on. So if there is a late caution or anything, you've got a little bit of grip left. But all in all, I guess sometimes I've been on the opposite end of that strategy where you stay out 2 or 3 laps thinking, yeah, this is going to really work out, and you lose time somehow. So sometimes you just 50-50 shot, and it's just a lottery choice sometimes. But
It did not work out so well for Matt Hayden, but man, that was a heck of a run, a heck of a show for you guys. Obviously, got fired off with that mistake out of corner number 2 right there. Just low grip levels to start the race, maybe a little cooler track temp or something there. And unfortunately for yourself, you get tied up in it, but you rebound nicely and find your way up here into victory lane after 140 laps of, pretty much consistent green flag racing. Who would you like to thank for a great run and great performance and parking this 92 up and into the Nashville Super Speedway victory lane?
yeah, shout out to my girlfriend Megan and Blair Peterson, the winner bid Diecast. Can't thank him enough for always supporting me. And Colton Hardy, QH Design. Go hit him up for all your t-shirts and hats and paint schemes and everything. All my teammates for tonight, and you guys for the broadcast and everybody watching.
Absolutely. Well, Clinton, man, heck of a run, heck of a race, brother. Congrats on the W, and we can't wait to see you back out there again next Friday night.
Yep, appreciate it. Have a good one.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Clinton Woodby, man. What a run, what a race, what a performance there for the 92 riders. We get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, Brandon Combs. Let's get Combs up here into the booth. Hey, Brandon, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yeah, man, what's up?
Not much, Brandon, man. Great run, great race for yourself here tonight, man. Take us back through what's going through your mind after 140 laps of beating and banging battling here at Nashville Super Speedway.
Just trying to take care of the tires, especially that right front. It was just so easy to just burn it up, and then this place was just fast enough here at Nashville to where it was a train race essentially, and whoever had drag position at the end, it was going to be you had to be way faster than them to be able to pass them and be able to do a whole lot, or just pussyfoot around and just take care of the right front and go about a second a lap slower and hope it was enough.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's tough to do that a lot of times. It's tough to kind of, enjoy yourself out there on the racetrack. But I mean, battling up there inside the top two, top three for a lot of this race, the cars, the truck looked really, really strong here, especially in these longer runs. What do you think you needed there late in this race? Obviously, you make that pit stop a lap later than would be. Was there a decision there to maybe wait a couple more laps? Maybe that would have worked for you late in this race to be able to give yourself that extra edge to try to jump up there and make that pass to get around him to steal this win away from the 92. What was the game plan there throughout that final?
I didn't really have a plan, to be honest with you. So that's kind of where it actually lost me the race, because when he went down pit road, I was like, oh, I got to follow him now. So I was behind him on the racetrack, so then I was going to come out of the pits behind him as well, unless he had a bad pit stop. But um, yeah, I kind of just pissed it away of having a chance of actually winning this race. But a little aggravating, but is what it is. We'll just learn and move on and take another second place finish. I feel like I got about 12 of these by now, it feels like. But yeah, I mean, truck was good. It looked good. It was nice to have Boot Barn on the side of it. And yeah, I mean, I feel like to me it's just kind of typical Nashville racing. Kind of just follow the leader unless you're Houdini or Jesus. It's just way faster.
Well, luckily enough for you guys, Houdini was kind of out of this race there after the stage break. Take us through kind of, maybe the Discord or what was going on there. Obviously, Drucker, running into some connection issues after the stage and had to take it down pit road. Ended up falling multiple laps down here in what looked to be maybe another race that we would see that 56 dominate here at the Speedway after winning the pole, leading all the laps through the first 60 laps of this race before having that connection issue.
Yeah, I think he was probably going to end up winning it, because when we came to the stage, he fired off and started going hard there with about 15 to go or so, and had about a 4-second lead or something like that over me, probably about 3 over Hayden. And yeah, when that stuff started happening in the Discord, he tried to just do what he could with making sure that he had everything turned off the Wi-Fi or internet and whatnot, and just didn't work out. He started blinking last week too. I remember kind of around the same part of the race, like right after the stage and stuff, and just shitty luck for him. And yeah, you never want to see that, especially for team points, because that might hurt us a little bit tonight. But it's all right. I know Brennan was up there in the top 10, so after a not so great qualifying effort by him. So yeah, I mean, not hateful. Just sucks with Jack. He was probably going to win the race. I mean, I hate to say stuff like that, but he was really good in clean air managing it in the stage, and I don't know if anyone else really could have done that. Maybe Hayden and Woodby could have, or at least given it an effort. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's all just hearsay now at this point. Sucks.
But for yourself in regular season standings, kind of helps you out a little bit. You're able to finish there ahead of Hayden through this race. I think you guys probably be roughly even with him finishing just one spot ahead of you in the stage. But obviously, being able to gain a few more points, try to draw in some of that, 81-point gap between yourself and your teammate in the regular season standings has gotta feel a little bit nicer, feel a little bit good here, coming towards the start of our playoffs here, that you're able to kind of gain a little bit on them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the only way to catch Jack is, well, hopefully he doesn't have any more of those internet issues, but just be able to just outrun him and finish ahead of him. I mean, he's just really quick. He's really good, and I've only been able to really do it in the 2 races that don't really matter for points, and then was able to do it last week at Lime Rock, and I mean, he's just good. Yeah, it's nice to be able to have a little bit of a gap on Hayden there. I mean, he's really quick too. He's really consistent, and yeah, it'll be a nice little battle with Hayden there for second place in the points. I feel like coming down to the end. I think Jack's a little bit too far ahead right now, but the points reset when the chase comes around, and then it's a whole new ball game.
Absolutely, brother. It is a whole new ball game here in a few weeks from now. But man, heck of a run, heck of a race for yourself here tonight, Brandon. Um, anyone else you'd like to thank here this evening for a great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, just want to give a shout out to Woodby there. He did a good job getting the win and being able to hold off and maintain it. Thanks to all the guys over here at the league for giving us a place to come race, all the admins, and you for the broadcast. That's very appreciative. Gotta say thanks to Boot Barn for jumping on the truck, and say thanks to Super Dirt Kart Series, Full Throttle Motorsports over on the dirt side, and Black Betty Racing over here. Bam Balam, we got another second place.
Another second place, another great run for you here tonight, Brandon. We can't wait to see you back in action, I believe, from Iowa next Friday night. We'll see what you can do there on the short tracks there and see if you can park this 28 right back up in Victory Lane.
Yeah, man, absolutely. We're gonna try to, and yeah, we'll see you at Iowa next week.
Beauty, brother. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah, man, you as well.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Mr. Brandon Combs. Great run, great race there for Combs as we get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, Eric Hegdal. Hey, Eric, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yeah, but I got
Mind is you're able to park this 11 machine up and on the podium here at Nashville Super Speedway.
Yeah, it was definitely a good night. Definitely probably the cleanest race for me all year. Feel like there's been several races where I didn't get the finish that I felt like I deserved. So nice to bring home the podium. Felt like I don't know if I really had anything for Jack. He was really good. It seemed like on the long run, but I felt like maybe second place was definitely a possibility. And I just had trouble getting going or just being able to be aggressive on the restarts, short runs. Guys were getting in front of me and just super hard to pass. Clean air is so important, and you just kind of ride in a single file line for much of the race, but try to try to stay out a little bit longer. Hoping I could maybe run down Clinton and Brandon, but I was just way too far behind. But third place still pretty good though.
Yeah, still pretty good finish. Able to kind of jump up there, join the podium here this evening. Obviously, late in this race, hunting down Matt Hayden and getting around Matt. Now, I thought the longer run there through that second run and being able to get a little bit fresher tires later in this race would have worked out, pretty nicely on not only for yourself but for Hayden. But it kind of seemed like in those final, 10 laps or so, his truck just kind of fell off there. I don't know if maybe he was trying to save a bit throughout that run and all of a sudden you were just able to jump around him and get by him, and he was just stuck with that game plan of save, save, save in case if there's a late race caution flag or what the game plan was there. Obviously, you were able to take advantage of it and steal that third spot from him. But what was kind of going through your mind is you were able to track down Hayden there, knowing that he only had 2-lap older tires on his truck compared to you.
Yeah, I knew he didn't pit too long before I did. I know he had trouble getting around Joe, which kind of allowed me to catch both of them. So I think that was a big deal. Being able to have those two battle, but I I felt like I was just too far behind all the leaders. Even I felt like I was catching all the leaders before I made my last pit stop, but I felt like I was too far behind to really. Or if I short pit and try to leapfrog them, it's not going to be enough to hold them off. And with only having one set of tires there at the end, I figured, well, if I try to run longer than everyone else, and then a caution comes out, then boom, I had the freshest tires on the track. So that's kind of my mindset. But
Yeah, still a good day, solid run for you, and a good podium for the Red Bull number 11 machine here this evening. Eric, who'd you like to thank for a great run, great performance out there on the racetrack?
yeah, just first off, thank you for everything you do for the league. I can't wait to go watch the broadcast. Always looking forward to that, and all the admins, Joe, David, uh, Colton for putting on this league. Everybody on the track, it was a fun race. A lot of green flag racing, and that's what you want in a league. So shout out to all the league sponsors, and yeah.
Beauty. Well, heck of a run, Eric. Great performance for you here tonight, man. We can't wait to see you back out on the racetrack again next Friday night from Iowa Speedway. See if you can park this 11 ride, maybe 2 spots better and up and in victory lane.
All right, buddy. Sounds good.
Beauty, enjoy the rest of your night. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Eric Hagdahl. Hagdahl with a great run, great race, strong performance out of that 11 ride. Heck of a run for all these drivers here this evening. Started off a little bit rough, a little bit tough there with a opening lap caution flag. I thought maybe things were going to play out a whole lot differently here this evening with lots of ups and downs, but luckily enough, things got super clean after that. Obviously, it was the only caution flag for incident there on the opening lap here this evening. If it wasn't for the opening lap issue, the only other caution flag we would have saw today would have been just the stage break. That's it, man. So stage caution, 1 caution on the opening lap for incident. Other than that, clean, green, amazing racing action here again from the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League. Huge shout there to all of our amazing sponsors of the QH Design, or of the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League, QH Designs, AdminBoxx, Johnny Johnson Motorsports, Full Throttle Paint Co. So many amazing sponsors that make this happen, to make this series what it is and how amazing it is, man. We can't thank them enough for having us up here in the booth, and can't wait to see these amazing drivers in the series back in action again next Friday night. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, unfortunately, that will do it for us here in this one. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all back here in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Engines scream, asphalt burns, the grips a gamble. Tires squeal, hearts race, this leads to scandal. Full throttle, no brakes, chasing that checkered. Drafted lines tighter than a bank teller's ledger. Turn 4 is a monster, jaws wide like a gator. Pit stop, quick cruise, move sharp as a razor. Adrenaline pumps, veins fuel injected. Outlaws on the track, chaos perfected. Full throttle kings, we don't slow down. Ripping through the night, owning this town. Gas to the floor, the crowd gets loud. Outlaws racing, we're born unbound. Smoke trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint job flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, stealing pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump drafts, link shot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump drafts, link shot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Slow trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint jobs flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, stealing pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump drafts, lane shot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump drafts, lane shot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights.